I'll never forget the best years of my life. Imagine a slightly chubbier version of me coming home after a long, hard day of being a middle schooler. I throw my backpack down on the ground and yell to my parents' promises to do my homework later as I run up to my room. I sit down at my tiny desk and open my crappy 2008 Dell laptop, and when it finally boots after 20 minutes, I eagerly open Steam, ready to play Team Fortress 2 until my parents made me go to bed. TF2 was the first game I ever really dedicated myself to, clocking in at about 1,000 hours over the span of a couple of years. However, the novelty of demo knighting, trick stabbing, and rocket jumping eventually wore off, and I sought a new game to play. Around this time, a new game came out of beta into its full release. Advertised as a 4v1 asymmetrical horror game in which you can take the role as a bloodthirsty killer or helpless survivor, it instantly caught my attention, and thus my Dead by Daylight addiction began. I played for years, clocking in a little more than over 1,000 hours between the years of 2016 to present day. I officially retired DBD as my main game when I switched over to Vermintide, but unlike TF2, I never really left the community as I still watch many DBD streamers and keep up with the game even today, many years after I supposedly quit. The reason for this is that I really just love the entire genre of asymmetrical PvP games, even if they usually are terribly balanced and have their fair share of issues. They deliver an experience unlike any other out there and really get my blood pumping, invoking that mentality of just one more game from back when I was a small middle schooler playing TF2. And when I heard there was a new game in the genre coming out in the Evil Dead franchise, I just had to play it for myself. This is a look into Evil Dead, the game. Brought to you by the same devs that made World War Z, Evil Dead is a 4v1 asymmetrical action game in which 4 people team up to exorcise and defeat the Kandarian demon, also played by another player. In order to do this, you must scavenge the map for supplies and complete a series of objectives in order to allow the Necronomicon to banish the demon, who in turn will do everything in their power to stop you from achieving that goal. In its current state, there are 13 playable humans and 3 playable demons, each with their own completely unique skills, strategies, and playstyles to master. This is not a single-player game with an overarching story or goal to accomplish. This is a PvP-focused fight to the death filled with copious amounts of blood, violence, and hilarious one-liners, especially from the skeletons.
A short nap, and then back to reaping souls.
But, as it goes with these kinds of videos, we'll be covering the good aspects of Evil Dead first, then the aspects that may be good or bad depending on how you look at them, and then lastly, the bad ones that weigh the game down. The gameplay loop of Evil Dead is incredibly satisfying and addicting for both sides. As a survivor, you have to scavenge the map for weapons and supplies before tackling the main objective, while as the demon you have to find the survivors and work to kill them before completing their objectives by harassing them as much as possible. Due to the large variety of weapons to use on the survivor side and the large variety of ways to harass survivors on the demon side, it's difficult to become bored as there is plenty to play with and learn. There are a lot of characters to play in Evil Dead. There are 13 survivors in total, split into 4 different groups who excel at doing a specific job. Each survivor has a unique ultimate ability as well as 3 unique passive perks that make them vastly different from other characters in their same groups, which means there are many, many different team compositions for you to play with and discover. Likewise, the 3 different demons all have distinctive abilities and different strengths and weaknesses, making them each a unique experience to play. The gameplay of both sides are unique, which make them feel almost like a different game. Survivors feel like a mix of a melee hack and slash and third-person shooter due to the melee attack combos, ranged gunplay, and pinpoint dodges you have to pull off during combat, while the demon feels more like a strategy game, as you have to wear down the survivors over time and strike them when they are most vulnerable, all the while utilizing your tools correctly and managing your infernal energy to ensure you're never running out. The only neutral critique I have regarding Evil Dead is that there is no skill-based matchmaking, which makes every game truly random when it comes down to allies and players. People who want a competitive experience will find this to be a negative, but as someone who is just looking to have fun and enjoys the wide variety of people he can find in these types of games, I personally see this as a plus. One of the worst things plaguing this game, though, is its ping. I'm unsure if this game is dedicated server or peer-to-peer based, but the ping is highly unstable and can sometimes cause input delays and can make dodging in combat impossible in some cases. Lastly, both sides in this game have some truly miserable things to go against, including the entire hunter group in general and high-level Henriettas who can both feel incredibly oppressive and unfun to go against. This isn't exactly an issue at the time of this video, but as people get better and begin to discover how overpowered some things are, this issue will get worse and worse until they are eventually addressed. So, what do I think of Evil Dead? Evil Dead is a breath of fresh air after all of the failed asymmetrical PvP games we've gotten over the years. The game has a solid foundation and learning curve to it, which makes it incredibly fun to play and learn, and the RNG of spawn locations and teammates makes every single game a unique experience which will leave you wanting more. Veterans of this genre should absolutely purchase this game, as it's some of the most fun you'll have since the death of Friday the 13th, and people newer to the genre should also get into the game now, as it is a fun game, and as usual with asymmetrical PvP games, there is a lot to learn. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to purchase Evil Dead for yourself, be sure to use the Humble Bundle link down in the description below to support me in the process, as I would greatly appreciate it. See y'all next time!